Sin must not reign over your mortal bodies so that you obey their desires. Friends, each of us has a struggle of sin which will last throughout the whole arc of our lives. At some times it seems like our temptations and our struggles are more than we can take. Sometimes it feels that like our temptations or our passions are like a pot which is placed on the stove, and eventually it's going to boil over, which is when we give in to it. But friends, the good news is that's not how we are made. No, our passions aren't like a pot which is put on the stove and eventually is going to boil over when we give in to them. No, our passions are more like the tide on the shore of the sea. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. So that if we are patient, we can overcome any temptation which comes our way. That's why whenever a passion stirs up in us, whatever it is, a passion to do something, or maybe even to speak an unkind word or to give a biting remark to someone who's near with us, our best tactic to overcome in our struggle against sin is always to delay. Because the longer we delay that passion, that temptation, that grip which might seem so strong on us at first, that grip begins to loosen. And then before we know it, it's gone completely away. So delay, delay, delay. And in this way, we can be sure that we never need to give in to any temptation or sin. But let's say that we did have the unfortunately, we were to suffer a fall and give in to that sin. Even still, we should not lose hope, because we have a loving God and Father who's right here, ready to forgive us, to pick us up, to dust us off so that we can go on his path. Friends, we have been entrusted with much because of the great grace that God has given us in revealing himself to us, so that we know his presence here in the sacraments, and we know that his indwelling presence in our hearts. So friends, let us always fight valiantly in our struggle against sin. Let's always be patient when our temptations come, so that we can overcome anything which comes our way. And with God's grace and the love of Jesus in our hearts, let us celebrate this Mass and offer this Holy Eucharist, especially mindful of all of our brothers and sisters who are suffering or are in need.